There are so many interesting, horrifying, or downright weird things in this big world of ours.
Each week, we'll bring you a new true crime story that has little to no coverage in English.
Let us do the translations so you don't have to.
I am Petra.
I'm Victoria.
And I'm Laura, and this is the podcast Translation Murder. So it is my turn, hence the order of us introducing ourselves this week. And I alluded to the fact that there was a connection with my last case. There's Candy Factory very, very briefly in this one too. But So I also said that we're going to be in Germany, and that is also true. And just off the top, I'm going to say that this is a cold case. So, I don't know, reconcile with the feelings before we get into the case that this isn't solved. So, yeah. The year is 1986, and it is in Würzburg. The region is the center of the Franconia wine country, and it's basically like where the greater part of the wine region is in Lower Franconia, where its capital, like the capital of Lower Franconia, is Würzburg. And it's along the Main River. And I don't know, like I included one of the photos for Hint on Instagram, and it's this really cool kind of medieval looking town and has lots of culture and history and stuff, and just really, really beautiful and along the river and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know, typical German town that it seemed picturesque and almost like a fairy tale looking kind of town. So I don't know the population, but I guess it's quite old. And yeah, that's kind of all I have right now, but not super massive like Berlin or something would be, but just, regular German town.
I know the population because I just
Oh, you
Googled
do?
it. I wanted
And what was
I wanted to
nowadays,
see
what
it on a
is it
map.
though?
So in
Yeah.
2019, it's 127,000.
Yeah, it's not
people.
too bad. And then
Yeah.
probably 1986, it was probably half that or something. So, yeah.
Or double, the countryside.
Yeah.
Getting people go to the capitals. Well, yeah.
But what I gathered too from like doing this research is that there's also a military base or some barracks nearby. So I don't know if there's also some German military presence or something also in this town, or if it's just from other times that these barracks were used. But anyway, so the person that we're going to be focusing on is Eveline Höbler. And at this time, Eveline is 24 years old, and she works at a chocolate factory. And my guess, based off of Google, was that this chocolate factory that she worked at was this Franconia Schokoladenwerke, since it's been around since 1869. And Eveline had been working at the factory for about a year, and she had some friends, and I watched the part of the episode of this Achtenzeichen XY Ungelöst, but I mistakenly held off on watching the whole film because I was like taking notes on it and whatever, and and it takes a bit more time to watch in German, of course, and take notes, and then I left it for too many days, and then so they took the video away, so I couldn't finish the episode. But I got a little, that's the most annoying part. And I was like, how do I find it? How do I get it back? Because anyway,
that's
so
super annoying.
yeah, and it was like really good reference. At least there was some stuff in there that I couldn't find in some of the articles. So I'm like, oh, at least I watched part of the episode, and got a bit more kind of feeling for this and stuff. So within the episode, it seemed, she had friends and she was, had friends from the chocolate factory and friends outside of work and stuff, and she seemed like a lively person. So I don't know how much it is writing in the episode or how accurate it is, but to me, she seemed like a likable person within the episode and how they made her appear. So yeah. So at this time, she lives in an apartment alone, about 2 kilometers from the factory, or about like a little over a mile away from the chocolate factory where she works. And even though she lived alone, like she said, like the neighbors and people said that she was pretty inconspicuous and quiet. And she also visited with her friends quite often. So she wasn't necessarily like a social recluse and stuff. She had a social life. She was, young 24-year-old. And I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but she was divorced about 2 years prior to this case. And I couldn't find any more information on her previous spouse or anything, but if she was married at 22 years old and like, okay, young marriage, whatever. I couldn't find anything about this person and whether they were even a possible suspect or not. So, I mean, they usually check out the spouse first. So I'm guessing that they at least checked him out. So. But her more current status was that she was apparently dating a guy who lived in another city. And yeah, that's kind of her like taken status, that she's dating around and, whatever, young, pretty woman, etc. So in one of the dramatic depictions on the show, Achtenzeichen XY, she mentioned to her friend that she wanted to move directly to the town of Würzburg because at the time she was, and that she lived in Veitshöchheim and she said that Veitshöchheim had become like too expensive to live and she wanted to move directly to Würzburg. So usually in my mind, I don't know what the rental properties were like, but I would think that Würzburg would be more expensive than Veitshöchheim. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's kind of like a suburb. It would be like living in Espoo maybe compared to Helsinki, but then Espoo in Finland is also quite expensive. So I don't know. Anyway, that was just in the show that I found, so it wasn't in any of the notes, and I almost didn't actually include this note in my show notes because until like there was some stuff later said by the cops. But yeah, so keep that in mind too. So on Thursday, the 23rd of January, 1986, she and her friend go and see a movie called Alan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. And during this day, she had apparently had a cold and was complaining of a toothache. And I don't know whether this was actually like a dental need or whether it was, sinuses and toothache and whatever. But I mean, she has a friend who can back this up. This was saying that she had a toothache. So at 8:40 in the evening, Eveline started from the bus station to the direction of home. And this is basically the last time that she would be seen alive by her friend that she, left. So,
So can I just confirm she started walking from the bus station towards her home?
yes. And that was, I think, like, from what I gathered, it's about like a 30-minute walk, and I'll get more into the timeline in a little bit. But yeah. So, yeah, 8:40 starts walking from the bus station to the direction of home. Yeah. In the program that I have been saying and citing and getting most of my cases from, they could reconstruct what could possibly have happened after she arrived home. So she did arrive home, and probably what you're thinking is like, oh no, she didn't make it home, because, that's usually when people indeed attack women, unfortunately, when they're alone at night and whatever. and also in the winter, so it's going to be dark, and etc. So they reconstructed what probably happened when she got home, and they say like approximately 9:15 or so she gets home, and the police are certain that at some time during the night, Eveline received a phone call. So be this by phone records or whether the neighbors heard her talking on the phone or something like that, but they're pretty certain that she indeed received a phone call. But what was said during this phone call that made her leave the comfort of her apartment, I mean, especially since she had a cold, she was complaining of a toothache, and she probably just wanted to I'm just speculating here, but if those things were happening to me and it's like 9 o'clock at night, I'm ready to go to bed at this point, because I just want to pass the fuck out because I have a cold and whatnot, right? So something had to have been said on the phone to make her leave the apartment. And the investigators assume that Eveline was picked up by a person, probably from her social circle. And this is what I deduce, probably most likely because of the phone call, because obviously she got a phone call. Someone had to have known what her phone number was, or maybe there was like the yellow pages or something like that. But even if someone that you don't know calls you and be like, hey, come outside, I want to talk to you, you're probably not going to do it. So therefore, it most likely was someone in her social circle. And most interestingly, her purse and her wallet were found within the apartment. So she didn't take those things with her, which makes it seem that, hey, she wasn't thinking that she would be gone for that long, right? If, leaving the most important things. I don't usually take
Yeah.
my wallet with me or my my purse with me or bag or whatever when I'm walking my dog, because I know that I'm going to be right back, and they're not important to bring along. So, yeah, that's kind of the last, I don't know, information that you get about her during that night. The next day, which would then be the 24th of January, Eveline didn't show up for work. And initially, so I don't know, I found this kind of interesting too. On many podcasts that I listen to, they always kind of say, like, be the reliable person at work. So when you don't show up, people actually, question, like, why you're missing from work, right? But this didn't really work in her favor, because her coworkers were like, oh no, nothing's amiss, because she had been complaining of a toothache. And then the coworkers thought, oh, she was being responsible in that way and going to the dentist. So no one was kind of alerted that she was missing immediately, because, yeah, I mean, that just kind of seems to be a natural assumption. If you have a cold or a toothache or something, that you're going to go take care of that or stay home or whatever. So
Yeah, I would assume that if my colleague has said something about their health, like I'm not feeling well, and next time they're
yeah,
offline, then I'm like, okay,
yeah,
well,
Yeah. You
makes
could
sense.
even
yeah,
think that she overslept because she's sick or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
And
yeah,
That's why
forgot
yeah,
she
to
didn't call in.
message.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
In
So
her case, call.
yeah, but luckily, unluckily, also on the 24th, a walker, and then the walker's dog actually found the body of Eveline along the Balthasar Neumann Kaserne, or the barracks, or the Kaserne. Yeah, is that it? Yeah, Kaserne, yeah. The barracks. So there's kind of like this road on Google Maps. Like if you Google that term, then there's like this kind of like street that pinpoints to. And so it's kind of like along the fence of the barracks that her body was found. So, which I'm always like, to come across a body with your dog. That's like every single time I go out with my dog, I'm kind of thinking, like, am I going to find a body today? I know it's stupid because Finland has a relatively low rate, but it's just one of those things that It's
Yeah, but
always
there
a
was just a case where kids
no,
found their dead body.
no.
But the
Like
articles say that they got crisis therapy for it, like immediately
okay,
or
okay,
whatever you
but
call
back
that.
then, could you imagine? They probably didn't
Yeah,
get crisis therapy for
most
this.
likely
Mm.
not. And I mean,
And
Uh,
even
for
if
an
you do
adult,
get it, it's not fun.
yeah,
yeah, and the state of I just yeah, we'll come back to this, but I wouldn't have wanted to come across. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah,
There's so
yeah.
much forest in Finland, like so many,
Yeah,
forest
and that's the thing.
areas. Like, what are the chances that someone would dump a body exactly where you're
But
walking your dog?
that's the thing. Like dogs, like I usually have my dog free when I'm in the forest because he likes eating the blueberries and whatever. So he's like running free, and then if I'm like Eddie, where are you? You know, and then he doesn't come, then I usually go and find him or
check that.
something.
Have
Then
you
if there's like
found a
a
body?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, like, because he's usually
Oh,
quite responsive when I'm out in the forest, because he knows that, okay, he gets the privilege of being off the leash if he comes to me, you know? And then I also give him blueberries if he comes. But, uh, yeah, it's just, uh, it's
yeah,
always a, it's
agree
always a
that with a
thing.
dog, it's a higher possibility. Like if you just
Yeah,
walk alone, you don't maybe check around that much, but with the dog will find all the
yeah.
weird things. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even there was like
this.
I think there was a dead animal in the field next to us, and it
Mm.
stunk really bad, and Eddie was just like pulling
Oh.
there like constantly for like weeks and weeks. I'm like, oh,
Oh my
uh,
God, dogs, man! Like, what is
yeah,
wrong with them?
yeah,
This smells delicious.
yeah. So okay, all jokes and light. I don't know. I'm trying to make light of this because it's like really sad. So
Yeah. I mean, if we get back to
yeah,
the topic, it's actually it's very sad and horrible. I mean, she's
yeah,
dead
yeah,
now, and the
yes.
dog and
So
the owner find her.
yeah, and my yeah sympathy also goes out to the people who found her, but it's also good that they did like on the just the next day basically find her. So during the investigation, the police determined that Eveline was not killed in her apartment, nor where the body was found. So, yeah, the perpetrator initially tried to suffocate her and then instead stabbed her over 30 times until she was dead, I guess. And yeah, so I mean, of course, looking at crime scenes and stuff, there's not a lot of blood that's extraneous from the body and whatever. So I think that's how they determined that it was not in her apartment and not where the body was found. But the police believe that Eveline had taken off her anorak, or like, those puffy winter jackets, and sweatshirt before the attack. But the perpetrator put them back on afterwards. So after they had stabbed her 30 times, over 30 times, they put the clothes back on her. And the perpetrator also most likely used their car to drop off the body where it was found. And in one press release from the Bavarian police, it is assumed that sexual intercourse occurred and the victim was then killed. So I don't know, we can kind of speculate on this portion of it too, because like they don't say rape, they say sexual intercourse. So whether it was consensual or not, that is not included in this. But the fact that she had the puffy jacket or like the anorak and then the sweatshirt was taken off because there was no stab wounds through those articles of clothing, um, kind of leads them to think that okay, possibly consensual sex or so. I don't yeah, but it still can be coerced sexual intercourse or whatever. So I don't know.
Then
I don't have any more information on this part, but any thoughts on this or
I would think the strangling could be something that could imply sexual violence, like trying to strangle, like rape
yeah.
type of thing. But yeah, it's just a speculation.
There's
Yeah.
also there's this part that often comes up, that strangulation is like a personal kind of way to kill someone, and also stabbing someone 30 times. That's like a
Mm.
So I just wonder if the killer knew her.
Yeah. I also usually also hear about that too, and then I forget who had said it, but usually, like, if you think of a knife as I mean, some people can just snap and kill and whatever and stab people over 30 times. And yeah, that is a lot of exertion and a lot of energy to expend on someone. But then if you're doing that, it also can be is it picarism is what it's called, like using a pointy object. So
Hmm.
in the replacement of like kind of like a phallic symbol or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of actually get more satisfaction out of stabbing things into people, or it can be to yourself as well, but it's usually to other people, and that's how you get your sexual satisfaction, by stabbing, because it's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
a penile replacement or whatever. So that also
Yeah,
can
it's,
be kind
it's
of,
just
yeah,
it's just weird because if it was this kind of fantasy motivated, like even like serial killer type of person who didn't know her, that
Mm,
would be maybe more easier to imagine if it was like if she was abducted on the street as she was walking home. But
yeah,
the fact that she got this phone call and went
Mm.
outside and maybe voluntarily got into someone's car,
hmm
it kind of implies that she maybe knew this person.
yeah, I also agree, because I think it almost makes it seem like she got a call, was gonna go discuss stuff in someone's car, like sit in the driveway kind of thing and discuss topics, and then it became a bit more violent or whatever, and then so I think they did know each other. That seemed like the
Mm.
most likely case, but then it's like the strangulation to stabbing is quite interesting. I think the psychology behind that, you know, yeah, it could be maybe they were rebuffed by her, and then like yeah, there's just so many things that could have gone on in that car, but
Yeah. I think also like when you read crime news and there's this stabbed many times type
yeah.
of things, they are also often like this rage, like someone gets just angry about something and starts stabbing without planning, without thinking.
Mm,
They have some kind of course, issue with controlling their aggressive feelings, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's very likely that it could be even some kind of relationship with this person, and maybe they have sex, and maybe then he gets upset about something and starts stabbing, and then he's like, shit, I have to get rid of the body.
Hmm. Also, two other things that came to mind. First, I was thinking that maybe she took off her jacket and sweatshirt because they were sitting in the car for a longer time and
Yeah.
the heating was on. So,
True. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it might not be related to any sex thing,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
but
Yeah.
I
Especially. Yeah.
guess like often in cases where the investigators can point out that it's most likely to be sexual violence, there is some kind of ripping of the clothes, because you don't get naked randomly with people in most of the situations. If you, I mean, of course you could get naked and then be like, actually I changed my mind, and then it can
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
a
Or
rape.
it could have
But I
even.
mean, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if there was no if the investigators see that she had sex, but there was nothing with her clothes, so that's why they would maybe assume that it wasn't a violent
I
case.
mean, or you could also be like, "Hey, I have a knife here. Take off your clothes."
Yeah.
Yes,
Also,
that's true. Yeah.
but I just
But
wonder if there was any
um,
evidence like vaginal tearing or something like that, or yeah, yeah, that's the part that I'm usually more, I don't know, apt to think, okay, there was sexual violence or something, like some type of tearing or micro tears or whatever.
Yeah,
but
but
there
I,
was
I
no.
don't think that all like sex, as you said about the knife threatening
Yeah.
thing, so
Yeah.
it's not always that kind of like actually violent, but the
Mm.
Yeah.
victim is just, scared. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, just okay, I will open my legs, do whatever you want, but just don't kill me. Like that
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
really fighting, but they're like just freeze to death. And then
Yeah.
I guess it's not that much of tearing or anything. Like if you just lay there and okay, let's not take this into
But
the episode.
also
Sorry,
like
we went too
it
much.
still can be it still can be true that there's some tearing and it's also consensual.
Yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
that's like
Yeah.
Yeah, rough sex can be
Yeah.
consensual too.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. And not trying to yuck anybody's yum for that, like rough sex or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. Just a thought that I have had, like when reading this type of stuff. I'm always like, how do they know whether it is consensual or not unless they actually literally say, no, it was not consensual. That's the part that I'm always kind of questioning in these medical examiner cases and stuff too. Like
do they say
hearing.
that nowadays?
I
Or do they like kind of, state it with confidence? Because I've heard it many times nowadays that it's very hard to say,
Yeah,
if it's
it's very hard to
consensual or
say.
not. Sometimes it's kind of clear if
obviously,
yeah.
if the person's already dead and then it's post mortem or
Or
something.
you
But
have like
also,
actually bruises and stuff around you and
yeah,
things too. But I mean, most of the time it's just word against word,
yes, yeah,
like when both are alive.
yeah.
Oh.
So
But in
anyway,
some
but yeah,
countries, if I remember correctly, in Japan, you need to have like physical evidence, which is stupid.
what?
Yeah, but
That's
well,
bullshit.
I don't
Yeah.
know if they have changed it, but at least a couple of years ago, it was still that you needed to actually prove that. See, this is what happened. Yeah.
And then what if there's like some fucking pervert who is like really good at manipulating, like, I don't know, there can be this type of like manipulation or whatever where it's like you don't have any evidence, that something that's
That's what always comes up in
Yeah.
these cases. Like if you just look into like any kind of sexual assault or similar case, and if you just look into the Facebook comments, at least I do sometimes read some of the Hungarian comments, and many of them are very victim blamey and just saying that, well, where's the evidence? It's very hard
fuck.
to, yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to make it abundantly clear that none of us are victim blaming in this, and this is like, but it always
Yeah.
just makes me very, very curious on how they determine this stuff. I mean, of course, this case is from '86, so there's a bit of, I don't know, growing up that police and how their wording and stuff is, but yeah.
But so what did they say? What did the police say in this case again? Like, did they state that it was probably consensual or?
That's the thing, they didn't say anything. It was like it was assumed that sexual intercourse occurred. Assumed.
Okay.
So whether that be because there is semen found, but then that also could be that found later, like there's so many things that, could have been done post-mortem or yeah, I don't know. So I don't know what they're basing this piece of information, but it was within like the actual police press release on the page, like the Southern Bavarian police report thingy. So yeah.
Yeah, but I assume that statement just implies that at least they couldn't find decent proof, decent evidence to say that this was definitely sexual violence.
Yeah.
Could be, might not be. We don't know.
Yeah.
One more thing about putting her clothes back on. This thing came to mind that like sometimes it can be sort of a weird, twisted way of showing respect or wanting to cover up the wound.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I also thought. Kind of this showing or like either shame of the person who killed and then like, trying to cover up what they did indeed, because 30 times, and I'm guessing mostly in the torso area, because if you're sitting in a car and you're stabbing someone, it's mostly going to be in the torso, and area because the way you're sitting in the car. So I'm just thinking that, yeah, it would probably be like what to do, to cover up the wounds, to try to cover up what you did if you're ashamed, or like, oh no, what did I do? But
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, like another thing that maybe could suggest that there's some sort of personal connection, but
Yeah,
only
could be.
speculation. But
Yeah,
just
all of
came
this
to
is
mind.
mere speculation. And since this episode is quite short and whatnot, yeah, I think speculation is kind of the brunt of this episode anyway. But yeah. So continuing on, at the crime scene, the police found one asthma inhaler and a pen from Bauer Verlag, and yeah, and Eveline's house key, and this, like, I couldn't find a picture or any other description. Like, I found a few different descriptions. Like, one said it was a pencil case, another said it was like a key case, but she apparently had this like dark red case, and I guess leather or something, that she kept her house key in, and the house key and that have been missing since the time of the crime. So it wasn't found on the body, it wasn't found in her like in her pocket or anything like that. It's been missing ever since. But the asthma inhaler is quite interesting that they found that and they still haven't found the perpetrator. Because I'm just thinking, like, if there is indeed someone who has a medical need for an asthma inhaler, you need to have a prescription, and there's probably not that many in a population of 100,000 that also knew her who also have asthma, right? What are your
Yeah.
thoughts? I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
And I'm sure there should be some DNA on that as well that could be tested nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that the investigators would first check out everyone she knows based on their phone call and stuff. And then it mustn't be that long list. Just check who has asthma.
Yeah. Agreed.
But
yeah.
of course, it's probably not this simple.
Yeah. But yeah.
Did they have any initial suspects then?
Not that anybody that they stated in any of the articles, but I'll just go into some of the questions that the police had after this was like questions, and I think this is kind of a good reminder of like maybe some how do you say, like some hallmarks of people if they would commit a crime, and maybe you should be suspicious of your of your loved ones or your friends who, kind of, these are just things to look out for, like in general, and then also more tied with this crime. So
Like that they have a bloody car.
yes, like they just got their car heavily detailed and cleaned and bleached, and no, but yeah, kind of, yes, but so I guess they had maybe put these on the Achtenzeichen XY Ungelöst episode or something, but I couldn't see it because I didn't finish the episode. Anyway, but questions from the police. Have you noticed any personality or behavioral changes or like social withdrawal in people immediately after the crime? And has or the perpetrator may have moved directly after the crime. So I mean that's kind of like a good thing I think to notice, right? I mean, anybody in your life who's acting suspicious after this really, really bloody crime in a small town, and who knows, like if there's anybody who knows anybody with a connection to Würzburg or Veitshöchheim who used an aerosol spray in the mid 80s, so for asthma, like asthma inhaler. Did anybody at the time find a large knife or a suspicious person who found one, perhaps near where the body was found? Was anyone particularly interested in the reporting of the police investigation after the crime? And this is definitely something that I think people I don't know. I think more people are becoming aware of this factor, like, ooh, I'm really interested in this crime, etc. Because people are usually trying to insert themselves, which goes back to Petra's case last week, with the older love interest of the doctor, for instance. But
Yeah.
possibly. Um, and then does anyone have a red key case or apartment key with the imprint YGH40730? And if anybody has this in their belongings or has found it or seen it after the crime. And has anybody made any derogatory comments about the victim after the crime or who had a personal interest in the victim? And I think this is also quite an interesting question to ask too, because most people, after someone dies, especially a horrific death, like for once, and then also even of natural causes, everyone always is quite nice about the
Yeah.
victim, So if derogatory comments would be definitely suspicious, I think. Like along the terms of like, oh, they deserved it. Okay, that would be like definitely this person did it or something, right? I mean, yeah. And if they asked also if anybody knew a person who had an intimate relationship with the victim at the time of the crime or was interested in one. And does anybody have information on why Eveline Höbler wanted to move to Würzburg? So remember when I told you at the beginning it was kind of, she made an offhanded comment in one of the dramatizations in the Achtenzeichen episode that was like, oh yeah, I want to move to Würzburg because it's like it's more expensive to live in like where she was living at, and then she wanted to move to Würzburg. And I almost didn't include that in, but then this question that the police were having, I was like, huh, that's an interesting piece of information that maybe the police are kind of holding off on something possibly that they found in the investigation. Like, was she getting intimidated by someone to move to Würzburg, or who knows? But I found that kind of interesting.
But how about like she had a boyfriend, right?
Yeah, that's the
Who
thing. Like
lived
she
in a
was,
different city, and this
yeah,
city was it that city that you just mentioned?
no,
Worth.
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
yeah,
But was this boyfriend questioned? I mean, I guess he was.
I guess so. Yeah, but there's no information, and
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
find.
always the annoying part here. That like, what
Yeah,
did the police do back then? So like,
yeah,
that we could exclude some scenarios. That, oh no, they
yeah,
checked it, they excluded this for sure, so we shouldn't even
Mhm.
speculate about it.
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. Like I only found this information on the Achtenzeichen episode, so not even in the articles that I was reading. So that there was the boyfriend from a different town, or like Freund or whatever. So yeah, from a different town. So I don't know
And these are the
what's the
questions that the police are asking today.
Yes, like
Okay.
to the public, basically. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think they're kind of good questions, like, of course, to this case, but then in general as well, like these kind of things to look out for if there is indeed one of these crimes in the future in your surrounding areas. Just beware of any of these kind of suspicious activities and then report them to the police. And that's why I kind of included them in this because, I don't know, I found them like kind of no-brainer things and questions to ask, but then maybe not in the moment after a crime occurs, like you're not going to question someone who's like, yeah, they're acting a bit more antisocial than normal. Well, especially you're not going to question that in Finland, but yeah, so just
Yeah, like how are you supposed to act more antisocial than usual?
yeah, exactly. So
Say only one word per day instead of 2 words.
yes. Yeah, instead of hyvää huomenta, you just say huomenta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
But yeah, so after this Achtenzeichen episode, which aired on November 29th, so quite recently, and that's why I almost got to watch the whole thing, there were apparently over 60 new leads that the police are investigating. And so that's like good news, like obviously these questions are being answered, possibly, and then also since 2022, before the episode, there was a DNA sample that has been evaluated with modern day techniques. So this has also been used to cross people off the list of suspects. So, i.e., like a large number of people close to those killed have already been checked off and excluded. And that was from the press release that, a large number have been excluded at this point. But then, so like there's a possibility that we will see in the future that this case gets solved because the DNA is there. I'm guessing a good DNA sample. They have the inhaler. They have like if the inhaler indeed was from the killer, because okay, it could be a complete red herring, like someone lost their inhaler and then like, oh shit, it was found in their body. Oh no, I'm not going to speak up. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be just really bad luck. But then it kind of goes to show that, like, does this mean that this perpetrator is a one-off killer because their DNA isn't within any system, this national system for criminals or whatever, right? So, yeah. And then I guess if people aren't offering up their DNA willingly, etc., and so it's a whole thing. So it's kind of interesting to see if this person indeed was a one-off killer and didn't do any other crimes that caused, police to take their DNA. So, which I mean,
Or
it's
he was just never caught.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just
Maybe he
thinking
died.
like, that also could be true. But then I guess if there's any familial DNA or anyway, but just it's kind of interesting that I would say that it would be most likely that the perpetrator in this case wouldn't be a serial killer or something, because I just find it very kind of conspicuous that indeed she got a call late at night, she left the apartment, she was in a car with someone, left her purse and wallet, so she knew she wasn't going to be gone for long. And so I think it indeed was someone that she knew who is who killed her.
Oh,
Oh,
Craig,
Craig, don't leave
what
us.
happened?
yeah.
What was I saying?
That maybe she stepped out.
Yeah, maybe she just stepped out to, talk to this person in the car. And
Yeah,
that's why
that's
she
what
didn't take anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
But then, why did he take her keys? Was it like, again, just speculation? Was it like this kind of scenario that they were arguing or something? She was uncomfortable. She wanted to leave and like get back to her apartment. So he maybe took her keys so she couldn't get back or something.
That could be it. Or
I don't know.
maybe she got killed at a different area and then taking off the coat, she dropped the keys. It could be simple as that
true.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never know unless someone actually gets caught and actually gives some clarity to the situation. But yeah. So that's kind of all I have. At least they have DNA. So it might even be that they kind of solve it like this Jutta Hoffman case or something. So yeah. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Let's hope that justice will be
swift
present.
and just and served.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess that's it from me. I guess we did a lot of speculation during the episode, so maybe we should just call it quits. But who's going next week?
It's me, I think, right?
Yes, it is. Do you have any hints for next week?
Well, I can tell that we are going back to Hungary, kind of, but it's a case related to both Hungary and Serbia.
Ooh, very nice. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, not that nice, but you'll see.
Okay.
You'll
is
hear
this
next week.
is this the one that you were like, should I do this during Christmas time or do it? Okay. So it's gonna be
This is the
heavy as
one.
fuck. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be fun or lighthearted.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. All right. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So now's the ending comments where I tell you that you can send us an email at translationmurderpodcast@gmail.com. But what's something that they should not send us, Petra? And I forgot to ask you this last episode. So now we're going to get an influx of these.
Oh,
So,
so
yeah.
we don't want dick pics.
Yeah, good. Yes. So, yeah. So if anybody's listened to last episode and they missed out on that, I'm sorry. But that was your one chance to send them. And now we
it's gone.
cut off the opportunity. Yeah. Okay, so send us an email, translationmurderpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at translationmurderpodcast, and you can check out our website, translationmurderpodcast.com, and you can, I guess, leave a comment and stuff there, and you can also listen to episodes on pretty much anywhere where you get your podcasts streaming at. So, and please subscribe to the Translation Murder podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and make a comment and rate it. Rating is really nice and helps us. So, thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we want to say anything else? We usually
Goodbye.
don't say anything else, right?
Yeah. I'm just going to say, hey paralla.
Bye-bye.
Bye.